Hi everyone, my name is Jennifer Amy Stoller, and I am an adaptive attorney, speaker, entrepreneur, and commonly known as the divorce chick. But before that, I'm a human being, obviously, like I'm not a robot. But I make this joke because for me, sitting in front of this camera must be one of the most daunting things. I have spoken on stages, I've done podcasts, I've been in court, I've been able to speak in front of thousands of people. But the minute I get in front of this camera, I become weird. Firstly, I know that it'll get easier. Secondly, I know that when I'm looking at the camera, I'm looking at myself. So I feel like I am speaking to myself. Okay, human stuff aside, why I wanted to make this video is very simple. I firstly wanted to tell you a bit about me. I wanted to share my journey when it comes to my legal space, my professional space, in that space, me launching and becoming an entrepreneur, and well, morphing into what is called the divorce chick. My journey started very simply. I didn't know what I wanted to study. I wanted to be a vet until I realized that I can't stand blood and I basically pass out at the sight of it. And then I started to explore. My parents would always say to me, Jennifer, what do you want to do for a living? What do you want to do when you're older? And we all have this vision of what we want to be, but obviously it's not clear. We're not taught about the steps and the tools to get there. Anyway, cut a long story short, I started to study law. I must admit, I hated every single part of it. I would phone my dad every single time I had to write an exam and say, I'm done with law, I'm giving up. He would simply say to me, Jennifer, rather try and fail than not try at all. And then obviously he would bribe me with some sort of carrot for me to keep going. When I look back on that, I must honestly say that I'm so grateful for that. Because as much as me studying law, I couldn't stand. I've never ever been a good student. I've never ever been a person that is good in front of the books and all of that. But my dad would push me because he knew what my values were. My values from a young child were a sense of justice. I've always been the person that will stand up for someone around me that has no voice. But what's weird in my journey is that I would never stand up for myself. And I keep saying cut long story short, but essentially, obviously, we all have a journey and they're very, very long. I studied law, I got into articles, and my passion was always family law. I wanted to deal with people, I wanted to solve people's pain, I wanted to be in a position that I could make an active difference in someone's life by virtue of my legal knowledge, but by virtue of also the person that I am. So on this journey, I practiced family law litigation for about 6 years. And when I was doing that, I would always do things like events, podcasts, speaking, because as much as I loved my space as an attorney, I loved educating and empowering people to know their legal rights to avoid issues rather than fix them. When you are an attorney, what happens is that you get to a point that you genuinely just apply the law. And I know for one that every single time I would have a client come into my offices, I couldn't just like take the law and apply it like a one size fits all. Many people around me would tell me, Jennifer, you're too personally invested. Jennifer, you care too much. And I genuinely would take it like, okay, I need to not care. I need to be a robot. And honestly, for me, that's not who I am. Did it probably drain me more than it should have? Of course. Did I get too invested in some of my matters? Of course. Did I sob my eyes out when my clients wouldn't get what they deserved? Of course. But that's what made me human. Okay. I then left my full time litigation job at the end of 2019. I was set in a goal that I wanted to speak, I wanted to write, I wanted to create content that allowed people to know their legal rights, to be empowered by the power that they possess, but not have to overcome a fear of stepping into an attorney's office by one, paying a lot of fees, and two, getting into that position that they had to actually speak. Then what happened? I obviously planned to start my company, which was called Impassion Transcend Yourself. And my goal was just to speak and do everything that I had done in my legal black space, but which was a client generation space. I would speak, I would have my podcast, I would write articles. And then by virtue of that, I would build a trust relationship with the person reading that or listening to that. And they would come to me and share their legal problem with me. And then I obviously would wear my attorney hat and step into that space. What's funny about life is that I started to enjoy that more than my legal day job. But what I didn't realize is that I that was a space that there was a connection. There was me speaking and adding value. And then there were people coming to me in my legal space. So suffice to say, the last year has been a massive journey. It has been a journey of me doing everything myself, me building a company from pure determination and passion and power, even when people, including your own friends and family, don't believe that you can, telling you, go back to your job, you had a good position, you made it. And I always trusted myself. Like, I always knew that I have a bigger purpose. Do I have a voice and do I want to share it with everyone? Of course. And that's why I'm sitting here doing this, although it is daunting for me because I know that when I have clients that I speak to on one-on-one basis, I heal them. I speak to them. They open up. They trust me. And I get to guide them in a legal space, but also in a human space. I made this very terrible joke when I left my full time legal job is that I said, I became a really good human, but a really bad attorney. And I want to revoke that statement. I became a bad attorney because I was practicing law based on how law should be perceived to be. I firmly believe that the law will never ever serve an individual unless the person that is preaching that law, advising on that law, and imparting their knowledge on that law actually sees the individual behind the legal problem. Do I say that with pure humbleness? Of course. I do believe that attorneys definitely serve a space. I am an attorney still. I still legally advise, I still give advice, but I need more, especially in the divorce realm. I honestly have a vision that I want to recreate the face of family law and divorce. I want people to stop feeling shameful about it. I want people to stop hurting themselves. I want people to realize that as much as you have legal rights and entitlement, and trust me, I advise on this all the time, you have to start from within. The one thing that I realize when I speak to my clients is that if they are in a space of anger, resentment, disappointment, shame, or pure hurt, it is basically impossible to guide them in the legal frame. I say impossible, but it's not because I've been able to do that. But I do also realize that it takes a team and a proper tribe. So many people, whenever they want to go through divorce, they will go to therapy or they'll go to couples counseling or they'll watch YouTubes. And for me, I genuinely believe that everyone is on their own journey and it serves a specific space. But so many people, as they decide on divorcing, they don't go, oh, I've decided on divorcing. How can I heal myself through the process? How can I get to know myself again? How can I connect with myself and let go of pain and all of that? The first thing that they ask is, who knows the best attorney for divorce? And trust me, I completely agree in having a divorce attorney that has your back and that will tell you your legal entitlement is absolutely important. But I don't believe that that should be the first question that people should be asking. So I have gone on this journey with starting my own company, falling, rising, being in bad relationships myself, being in spaces that taught me lessons that I wouldn't wish on my own worst enemy. But the one thing that I have learned during this journey is that no matter what you're going through, whether it's a divorce, whether it's any sort of conflict in your life, how you deal with it matters, right? So, how you step into the realm of divorce, for me, is a new start. So many people leave their marriages because they're unhappy or they try to make it work, or abusive situations. There are so many reasons why people leave and why people want to divorce. And sometimes people don't even know the reason, and that's okay, right? Divorce is your fingerprint. It doesn't look the same as anyone else's. So stop comparing. But for me, when you are stepping into a realm of divorce and fighting and combat and conflict, and you have not sat down with yourself to actually see why you're doing this, why you should be entitled to something legally, or why you want anything around you to change, I do believe that you are actually leaving the space of marriage that probably has been toxified and entering a divorce space, which you are going to toxify as well. I am going to sum it up now. For me, when people ask me, Jennifer, what is your purpose? Like, what value do you want to add to the world? The last year, it's been hard. I literally became, um, I would choke when people would ask me that because I wanted to be everything. I wanted to be a passion igniter. I wanted to be a podcaster. I wanted to liberate people in their legal rights from social media to family law to commercial. But I realized my superpower is divorce because I genuinely believe that I have gone through hundreds of divorces with my clients. I have not gone through my own, which I don't need to go through my own in order to advise. But my goal is for people that are going through divorce to take a step back and realize this is your opportunity to, one, redefine your version of success. Success is not winning in court. Success is not destroying other people around you because they've hurt you. Success is not taking a child away from a good parent because you cannot get on with that parent. Success is not fueling fire because you could not speak and the other person could not hear you with your pain. That for me is not success. That is literally recreating a cycle of toxic relationships that stem from either your own childhood or your relationships and trickle to everything around you, from your workspace to your friendship space to your children. So I'm going to get to the point. My vision is to change the face of divorce where you can be in the legal system. You can essentially be in conflict for what you're entitled to legally, but you can also heal yourself. You can also check yourself. You can also get to learn yourself again. You can also react in a manner that doesn't hurt you and destroy you. Because at the end of the day, divorce, yes, many people shun it. I do not preach divorce at all, but I do know it's a reality. And I do know that when you step into that realm, make sure that every lesson that the universe has tried to show you before, you learn. Because what's going to happen is if you don't learn it, you are going to get to a point that the fighting and the spending lots of money and the conflict and the toxic dark circle that you are recreating is going to toxify everything around you. And let's be honest, you're getting a divorce because you're unhappy in your marriage. Why be unhappy in your divorce? And that is exactly why I created a course called Divorce, Sugar, or Salt. In this course, it is basically a 4-week journey where you get to know yourself again. You get to see what has been hurting you, what you don't want, how you've evolved, and you get to heal through the process. I, for one, know that even me creating that course healed me. The amount of people that I had on the first launch of it, it added so much value to them. Do I know that I can't fix everyone's problems? Do I know that I can't stand in the way of everyone's lessons? Of course. But do I know that if for 1 second you get to look at yourself and what you want from your divorce and make a decision of how it's going to go and flow through it, done. I'm there. So it's a little bit about me. If you have any questions, you're more than welcome to reach out or contact me. But for now, I stand for healing in any sort of space, right? Healing is messy, healing looks different on everyone, but let's take the first step. I will be doing a whole bunch of videos where I will be explaining more about the course. But if you want more information, you're more than welcome to visit my website, www.impassion.co.za, and go to the shop. And it's launching on the 29th of March. And I genuinely hope that any sort of information that you want from me in respect of it, you reach out. So thank you for listening. Thank you for also maybe not listening, tuning me out, whatever. But I do hope that if you are going through a divorce, contemplating divorce, or even being affected by divorce in your own life, like your parents were divorced or your children are at school with other kids that are going through divorce and they're acting out, anything in that regard, please share this video, and I hope that it brings some sort of light in any darkness that you're facing. So yes, I am Jennifer Amy Stoller, the divorce chick, and I hope that you reach out, and I'm here if you need anything. Sending you so much love and light, and yeah, I will see you soon, or chat to you soon, or reach out, whatever. But yeah, have a beautiful day, evening, week, everything. Cheers.